Greetings, music lovers. It's a very propitious second Tuesday in the month. It's Bastille Day. Grands enfants de la patrie, Monsieur de Clare est arrivé, or something like that. It's also Woody Guthrie's birthday. And maybe most important, it's the second Tuesday of the month for On Your Radar. I'm John Platt, and I'm delighted that we can have our second virtual On Your Radar. Last month, we did our first with some trepidation, and it worked out okay, well enough that we figured we'd try it again, and maybe if we keep getting the knack of it, we'll keep on going every month. I certainly hope so. The first time, we had well over 2,000 views on Facebook Live and YouTube, and a generous amount of contributions to the PayPal tip jar. And I want to point that out right up top, because you can see the crawl, as I call it, which gives you the URL. It's paypal.me/onyourradar2020. And all the proceeds will go to the artists, the three artists, and the StreamYard producer, Rob Hinkle. So, the more generously you give, they'll get all the benefit of it, and they'll give us the encouragement to keep on going. Now, last month, we had three guests, three artists from three distinct destinations. It was Massachusetts and Los Angeles and Florida last month. Well, this month, there are three more distinct destinations, the Washington, D.C. area, Chicago, and Ontario. So we're going to start down around Washington, D.C. and welcome Siobhán O'Brien.
Hi,
Hello.
How are you, John? How's it going?
Fine.
It's great to see you.
Oh, it's so great to see you. And
Yeah.
as I said to you, I love your Irish accent. And I love your Irish name, which I can even pronounce. For those of you who aren't familiar with her name, maybe you should spell it for them and tell us what the equivalent in English would be.
Yeah, it's going along the bottom there, Siobhán O'Brien. It's Siobha, Father in. And we go, in the name of the Father. It's just a stupid Irish thing. But
What would it be equivalent to?
well, Siobhán means white or pure spirit or fairy. And Siog is a fairy and Bán is white, and as in pure. Or else it means vodka. I don't know, white spirit.
Well, I have a granddaughter who's named Maeve, so we have a little Celtic thing going
Oh,
in the
nice.
family there.
Is it the Irish or the English spelling Maeve?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's kind of Irish, but then there's Meadbh, which would be
Oh, that would be really
the
hardcore
BH
way of
sound
doing
has
it.
the V sound, yeah.
Yeah,
And there's no K in the Irish language, just in case anyone's wondering.
Okay, if you're keeping track, people,
Yeah.
keep that. So, where actually did you grow up, Siobhán?
I grew up in Limerick, about 4 miles outside Limerick, which is the southwest of Ireland. And Limerick is an old Viking town, and it's a huge port back in the day. And it is on the beginning of the Shannon River, which goes up the right through the middle of Ireland. So we're at the Shannon River.
And did you have a musical family? I've heard maybe you did.
Yeah, from both sides. My dad played guitar and loved like Bob Dylan and all that, and his record collection was massive, and that's how I, got like into a lot of the folk heroes of the time in the 60s. And my mother is a music teacher, and her brother Braden, who just passed away last month, he lived in Las Vegas. He was a big show band star in Ireland, and he had a huge hit called The Hucklebuck, which was a Chubby Checker song. And and then their father and mother were musical, but my grandfather was a conductor and a music teacher, and he used to direct the Waterford Light Opera Festival. And then his parents started a traveling opera company.
So it's not traditional Celtic music at all, huh?
No, funnily enough, yeah. I mean, on my mother's side would have been the classical side, and then on my dad, it was the total opposite. Even though he loves opera, he loves Mario Lanza and
Right.
Paul Robeson, he loves all them.
So what lures you to the U.S., in particular the Washington, D.C. area?
Well, I'm here because I have friends here, and I was able to have, start myself out with some kind of support, you know what I mean? But I came here 3 years ago on an artist visa, and I'm still on that, an O1, and I'm going for my green card. And that's the only reason I'm here. But I couldn't stay at home anymore. I knew that my musical career was unfulfilled, and I had to do something to do it because I was getting stale, and I wasn't happy and I wasn't fulfilled, and I just had to give it one more go, And, it has really worked out. Obviously I'd like to be a little bit further up the totem pole, but it's so hard, and there's a lot of competition, even though I don't really look at it like that. But, meeting you in New Orleans at the Folk Alliance was huge, and Lee Zimmerman and all these great people that had given me great reviews and stuff. And yeah, it's just nice to get into the community,
Well, and there is really quite a community in the Washington, D.C. area, of course, as well.
Yes.
But why did you choose to record your current album, the album which is You Can't Run Out of Love, in Austin, Texas?
Because there's I suppose a bigger musical family down there, and then I met Matt Hubbard, who was one of the producers. I met him while I was gigging on a cruise ship while I was waiting for my artist visa to come through. And so I had interviewed, a lot of other different producers in Nashville first, and then I went to Austin. I kept thinking there's something, I know I have to go back. I played South by Southwest till like 99, and I just felt in my bones that I had to go to Austin. I just didn't know why. I didn't really know anyone. I had this one card that Matt Hubbard gave me, and I then interviewed another few people. And just when I met Matt, and he had brought in John Bush, and both of those are like, John is a founding member of Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians, and then Matt is playing with them for the last 4 or 5 years. So both of them were my producers in the end. And like when we sat down the first day and we met, it just was easy. Everything was easy, and it just all fell into place.
Well, and it's such a musical mecca, of course, too.
Yes, yeah. But that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, John.
But if I can detour from Austin to Boston, can you quickly tell me about a special thing that happened to you when you were in Boston?
Yeah, I played with I guested what am I trying to say? I guested with the Chieftains in Boston Symphony Hall in I think 2008, when they do their run of the East Coast on the Patrick's Day and all that. Paddy's Day. So I did an album called Songs I Grew Up To back in 2007, released in 2008, and it was all old American folk songs and so Paddy Maloney played uilleann pipes, low whistle and tin whistle on 2 of the songs, The Long Black Veil and The Lakes of Pontchartrain. Yeah. So after that, he asked me then would I open for him, because I said I was going to be in Boston, and he said, well, maybe you should come and play with us. And I was like, okay. There was, and it's funny because I'm not really that traditional, but folk is in my veins. So,
but somebody brought you up on stage after you ran into him on the street or something?
Oh, that was in Dublin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was in Dublin. That was Mr. Bob Dylan, yeah.
Yeah. Your close personal friend.
Hardly, but anyway. Yeah. That was a crazy thing that happened. I saw him coming out of a hotel in Dublin, and I had a tape, and I wanted to give it to him. And he was like, yeah, right, like, you're going to give him a tape. And so I was like, hi, Bob, I don't want to annoy you. I'll go away. I just want to give you a tape. And he was like, was pulling a hood over his face, like an Eskimo hood over his face. And I was like, no, sorry, he doesn't really know what I'm saying. Hey, Bob, I don't want to annoy you. I just want to give you a tape. I'll go away. And then I said, look it, I sing. And I stamped my foot, and he turned around and he says, well, sing for me so. And I went, babe, I'm gonna leave you. Tell you when I'm gonna leave you. and did a verse, and he goes, sing another verse. And I said, sang another verse, and he goes, let's walk this way. So we were walking up and down, like chatting about songs and life, and I was teaching him some Irish, how to say his name in Irish, and there was a seagull flying over us, and I was telling him what the name for the seagull was, and he just was laughing, and and I have this thing that I sing the line of a song if it comes up in the conversation, so this kind of was happening all the time, and he just was really kind of amused. And then he brought me to the gig, and I don't know, I can't remember why I sang a verse of The Fox Went Out on a Chilly Night. And he says, hey, maybe you'll sing that with me. And I said, oh, no, I don't know all the verses. And he goes, maybe you will, maybe you won't. And that's okay, too.
Well, that's a great story. If you ever do your memoirs, the equivalent of chronicles, you have to make a chapter out of that.
Well, yeah, I think you could nearly make a movie out of it because it is a longer story. But, you know, and I met him twice again after that, and he knew me every time, and he just was so nice. And he rang me and left a message saying, tell her it's Bob about the tape.
Well, you never expect to hear that kind of a story about Bob Dylan. So,
well, you never, but the thing is, what I didn't expect was I thought, oh, maybe he'll ring back. Forget it. That was it. He had his moment, and that was it. I had my moment, and that was it. Forget it.
Well, let's not use up all our time talking. Would you honor us with some music?
Sure,
this is Siobhán O'Brien.
Thank you so much.
Radar.
Thanks. Hey, guys, how are you? Welcome. This is the first single from my new record, as John said, is called You Can't Run Out of Love. The first single is called The King's Fool, which John has been playing on WFUV, and I'm so thrilled about it. Thank you so much, John. Now I am an immigrant. I left my son, my home, my life, my family, my word. Forever I will roam. The strain of uncertainty, a life of rejection, internal revolution. I choose my own trajection. The king's fool, I play the game. The dancing bear, the court jester. Like a demon, I'm cursed with this desire. Biblical bureaucracy, can I just play my lyre? Please take away this longing, let me crawl back down my hole. Hide under my childhood bed, too sorry to console. The king's fool, I play the game. The dancing bear, the court jester. I'm eagerly awaiting my artistic expansion. I meditate, I subjugate, I harness my Atlantean. I have spent a lifetime unlearning my conditioning. When the chatter in my head gets loud, I pray for pure transitioning. The king's fool, I play the game. The dancing bear, the court jester. The king's fool, I play the game. The dancing bear, the court jester. The King's Fool. It's about my adaptation into this country. Next one I'm going to do is one called Love is the Holy Grail, and it's just my little nod to, you know, not having the love of my life or in my life, but noticing love all around me. I looked for love in every face. I found it in a man so kind. I looked for love as a constant star. I found it in the opening bar. I looked for love across the ocean. I found that it's not meant to be. I looked for love in a harvest moon. I found that it was gone too soon. I heard love in a lonely girl. She felt her life, her world unfurl. I heard love in a baby's cry, from birth to 10 to a teenage sigh. I heard my love an ambitious boy was not afraid of the ride. Ahoy! His dreams are not pie in the sky. A long, long road of lows and highs. I know there is divine beauty that cuts through all the pain and grief. Love for me is beyond the pale. For me it is the Holy Grail. I saw love in a falling leaf. It whisked away the sense of defeat. I saw love in a dying mind that glimpsed the tragedy so fine. I saw love in a fighting pair. They were always there to care. I saw love in a humpback whale. Her calf, her breech, her strength, her tail. I know there is divine beauty that cuts through all the pain and grief. Love for me is beyond the pale. For me it is the Holy Grail. For me it is the Holy Grail. For me it is the Holy Grail. That E might be out, no? Thank you. What's the next one I'm going to do? The next song is called She Hides My Plex. My Plex is my guitar pick, and we call them a plectrum at home in Ireland. So my sister is 12 years younger than me, and she used to hide my Plex in a matchbox. And she ran away and joined the army when she was like 16 or something. The Irish army, we're a neutral army, but it was like a fake army before you got into the army. It was called the FCA, and so she was in that when she was 16, and she lied about her age. But anyway, she now is the mother of 8 children, and this is her story, or my perception of her story. So this goes out to Maura, my sister. hides my plex in a matchbox. She was my little baby. She mothered her dolls in their buggy prams, taught them to dress like ladies. She grew up tall and she grew up strong, ran away and joined the army, found herself in Lebanon, where the nights they were all balmy. I guess she traded the idea of love for war. I guess she traded the idea of love. Peace between unknown mother's sons. She didn't know where it would end, nor how it had begun. Now she's happily married, and her dolls, they are her babies. Growing up tall and they're growing up strong. Night, night, put on your jammies. I guess she traded the idea of war for love. I guess she traded the idea of war for love. I guess she traded the idea of war for love. I guess she traded the idea of war. Often goes crazy, so I'm not going to go crazy. She hides my plex. I'm just going to have some ginger tea. I like my Abraham Lincoln cup, $1 in a thrift store. What's next? Okay, another song from the new record called "You Can't Run Out of Love" is a song called "Hold Me in Your Arms." It was my attempt at trying to write a waltz, and it came out 6/8, but that's okay. And it's trying to it's just like a nice little old-fashioned story. Take me to the parade, wine me and dine me. We can go waltzing all night long. Take me way back when we were wild and free. I long for those days again. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. I wanna get dressed up. I want you to take me out. I wanna put my best dress on. I wanna have some fun. I wanna laugh, dance, and sing. I wanna put my best dress on. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. We see our children's children pave their way through the mire. We gave them the tools, they shine like a beacon. The future is bright. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. Hold me in your arms, let's dance all night. Hold me in your arms down by the river. Hold me in your arms, let's watch the daylight break. I will be yours forevermore. I will be yours forevermore. I will be yours forevermore. Thank you. I want to do a song, an old song called From Harvest to Harvest Moon. All Neil Young fans will get this. He had, I can't take that hair out. I'm like in jail here. Yeah, Harvest to Harvest Moon is an old song. It's from my second EP called Like a Habit. And we actually we did this on a national television program called The Late Late Show. Okay. Go down one. What's everything? Oh God, okay. I think I'm ready. Yes, Christine, I know that's one of your favorite songs, Hold Me in Your Arms. Thank you. Thanks, Rob, for putting up the comments in front of me. Cool. Okay. From harvest to harvest moon, we stayed on the same height for a mere few months. That's what it was. Just like two friends who part to do their own thing. The dreamers stayed at home and the ambitious went away. Now you're home on holiday and I'm still talking about taking flight. You can see I'm going nowhere, but I know I will someday. On this winter January morning, 93's been a long wait. What will the year hold for us? Goodness and production, not on a long finger. 96 to 93, we'd done a lot of things. Between us we have a baby and a work visa for Canada. I've got a new guitar, I actually have assets. Been a long time waiting, at least I don't have a mortgage. On this winter January morning, 93 has been a long wait. What will the year hold for us? Goodness and production, not on the long finger. On this winter January morning, 93 has been a long wait. What will the year hold for us? Goodness and production, not on the long finger. From Harvest to Harvest Moon. Used to play that with my band back in the early 90s in Limerick. And if there's any Limerick people tuning in, they'll know that one. Okay, what time have I left? I think I have a few more. I was going to do the Lakes of Pontchartrain for people who'd like to hear something a little bit different than my songs. Paul Brady had a kind of a hit with this in Ireland, and I changed the gender for it to suit me. And there's a guy called Colin Irwin. I don't know, John, if you've heard of him. He's a British author. You think he used to write for Rock and Reel magazine or something like that, and Folk Roots. But his name was Colin Irwin, and he wrote a book called In Search of the Crack. And he went around to a lot of Irish bars, just like wandering around Ireland, and he happened upon me. And he heard me do the Lakes of Pontchartrain, and he gave out that I changed the gender in the song. And then I met him years later, and he actually came to a gig, and he was like, you know, the song has kind of grown on me now. So it was nice that he said that. But the Lakes of Pontchartrain. That I recorded with the Chieftains or with Paddy Maloney. It was one fine March morning, I bid New Orleans adieu. And I took the road to Jackson Town, my fortune to renew. I cursed all foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled my heart with a longing of the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board a railroad car beneath the morning sun. I rode the rides till evening, and I laid me down again. All strangers there, no friends to me, till a dark boy towards me came, and I fell in love with my Creole boy by the lakes of Pontchartrain. said to my handsome Creole boy, my money here's no good. If it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out here in the wood. You're welcome here, kind stranger. From such sad thoughts refrain. From your mommy, welcome strangers by the lakes of Pontchartrain. He took me into his mother's house, treated me right well. The hair upon his shoulder in black ringlets fell to try and paint his beauty. I'm sure to be in vain. So handsome was my Creole boy by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I asked him if he'd marry me. He said that ne'er could be, for he had got a lover and she was far at sea. He said that he would wait for her, and true he would remain till she'd return to her Creole boy by the lakes of Pontchartrain. So it's fare thee well, my Creole boy, I'll never see you more. And I won't forget your kindness in the cottage by the shore, and at each social gathering the flowing bowl I'll drain, and I'll drink to the health of my Creole boy by the lakes of Pontchartrain. And I'll drink to the health of my Creole boy by the lakes of Pontchartrain.
Siobhán O'Brien.
Thanks, John.
And,
I was going to do my title
version of that.
Oh, it's a fabulous song. Yeah, fabulous song. I was going to do my "You Can't Run Out of Love," the title track, but you can play it, John, instead. It's fine.
Well, we got to.
I know. I can get like a little bit chatty, so sorry.
It's the gift of gab of the Irish, and I'm guilty myself, whatever. But it was lovely to have you do those songs. And yes, do check out You Can't Run Out of Love. That's the lead track from the album. And you'll look for it at SiobhánO'Brien.com, which you have that address there.
Yeah.
And also, make sure you check out the tip jar at paypal.me/onyourradar2020, because if you enjoyed this wonderful set by Siobhán O'Brien, you want to show your love by putting a little money in the tip jar. And at the end of the night, we hope that everybody will come out with not only your love, but your tangible love as well. So.
Thank you so much, John. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to hearing Tragedy Ann and Mark Dvorak.
Okay, well, look forward to having you in
Thank you
New
so
York
much.
at some point when
Hopefully,
things
hopefully.
get when things settle down. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love it. Thank you so much, John. Thanks, Rob.
Okay. So that's the first act of our On Your Radar tonight, and Act Two takes us to a guy who's Chicago's official troubadour, Mark Dvorak.
Yeah.
And well, I should ask. I guess I should assume that you are in fact a lifelong Chicagoan.
So far, yes, John. It's good to be with you.
That's a good way of saying it. What made you Chicago's official troubadour?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'm actually quite proud of that title. There was a guy in Chicago named Fred Holstein.
I remember him.
We have his brother Ed, who's still teaching and still performing, and his other brother Alan opened a club on Lincoln Avenue called Holstein's, and I used to go down and listen to Fred play, and kind of followed him around because he was there was a very high level of craft in what he did for an audience. He wasn't pitching for a record deal. He knew what to do with an audience, and he knew thousands of songs, and I so admired that, and I so admired his casual presence on stage and how he interacted with people, and that was in the 80s, and so there were a number of people like Fred going around. So I started imitating that, and I thought I have to learn a lot of songs, and I really enjoyed getting into music in those days. And then I started teaching at the Old Town School of Folk Music, right? And I got to meet a very, very old man by the name of Win Strachey, who founded the school in 1950.
A legend in Chicago, yeah.
A legend. And we became friends towards the end of his life. And then we discussed Rich Warren before the broadcast. And Rich, when Win passed away in the early 80s, he put together a compendium of Win Strachey's songs recorded at WFMT in Chicago, Chicago's official troubadour. In fact, that's on Win's gravestone. And so I did a fundraiser for WFMT a number of years ago, and Rich announced on the air, he goes, Chicago's official troubadour, how could I turn that down? And so it's some pretty big boots to try to fill.
And Rich is about to retire, so it's good that you got it when you did.
Well, I've admired Rich for a long time, and he's been a pillar in our music community, and he's recorded everybody, but he deserves to do the next thing too. And
well, now the names of Ed and Fred Holstein take me back because I spent the 70s in Chicago, along with people like Steve Goodman and John Prine and Bonnie Kullback, who all became friends. And I'm wondering how you feel the folk community in Chicago now compares with that. You weren't there, but I mean,
well, I talked to Claudia Schmidt a couple of years ago, and she said she was at the beginning of the end of all of that because she was in Chicago, and I was at the end of all of that. You know, I played the Earl of Old Town one time, and they closed a week later because trends were changing and music was changing. And
but is there still a really vibrant scene? Is what I'm asking.
Well, there's more music being played now than ever, but it's not the club scene or the coffee house scene that it once was. I mean, here we are on StreamYard, right? And
times change.
Times do change.
Another name that I take from that period is Michael Smith, and I know you know him, and for the benefit of people who are not aware of his name, he was the guy who wrote The Dutchman, which was a hit for Steve Goodman, and Spoon River, and so many other great songs. And he's in hospice, I understand, right now, and close to death. So we keep him in our prayers. But I know that you had a particularly close relationship with him through Weaver Mania. Is that right?
That's correct. Michael called me one day, and I really think the reason was because I've been a fan and a follower of the great Pete Seeger, and he called me up I hear you have a long neck banjo. and his dream was to turn it into a theatrical piece. And as we got into the material, our realization was the Weavers were so relaxed because they played all the time. They played in all kinds of situations. So we decided to become a road act for a year, maybe two, just to get into the songs and get loose with them. And sadly, he and Barbara never were able to write the play, but we had a good run of 6 solid years where we did 25 or 30 concerts a year, and then a few on the end. I think 2017 was our last concert. And so I looked.
Yeah, and he did a Broadway production with Steppenwolf, I think.
Yeah, he did. He had success in theater with The Grapes of Wrath, and a little play here in Chicago that I really loved was Hello, Dolly, where he did all these songs about artists, and he won a local award for a play musical presentation about his family, all of his brothers and sisters. So he's a very special artist. And
I should mention that today is the 108th birth anniversary of Woody Guthrie, and on your current album called Let Love Go On, you actually do a tribute to Woody Guthrie. I don't know whether you're planning to do it tonight or not, but
absolutely.
But you draw so many different genres in your music. I mean, there's pure folk and there's blues and there's even kind of the American popular songs. So I guess your taste runs pretty wide. Am I right?
Well, I think the more you work at music, your ears begin to get big, and you start to hear music. And I loved hearing Siobhán's story about growing up listening to Bob Dylan and the folk era artists. And I read a book in high school about Bob Dylan. It was a biography written by Anthony Scaduto, and I read that book, and it talked all about growing up in Minnesota and going to the University of Minnesota and hanging out in Dinkytown. And then he heard Woody Guthrie was dying, so he hitchhiked to New York. And I said, I want to be this guy, because and then he talked about the scene in Greenwich Village. And by the time I finished the book, I didn't want to be him anymore.
So go figure. Bob Dylan figures in 2 of our little question and answers today, but that's not a surprise. No. I want to let the world hear more of what you're doing. So please welcome Mark Dvorak on your radar.
Thank you, John. Born an only child, she grew up running wild, with a howling wind on the Texas Panhandle plain. She married young, like her mama done, and when her man pulled out, he left her nothing but the bills and pain. And so she gave her soul to the wild oat sea, to the open road. Like a tumbleweed, she loves to roam my roads of Jericho. She never talks too much about her life and such, or what she has to do to get her groceries and her rent. She's still a girl, and it's a cold, hard world, and a broken dream is all her hometown ever meant. And so she gave her soul to the wild oat sea, to the open road. Like a tumbleweed, she loves to roam my roads of Jericho. the best I could. I tried to raise her good. It's hard to put down roots in a too big town like this. Each night I pray, I hope that she's okay. And where the devil she is, I can only guess. And the Lord only knows if she'll settle down, find an honest man, or come back around. I miss my rose of Jericho. She gave her soul to the wild oat seed, to the open road. Like a tumbleweed she loves to roam, my rose of Jericho. She loves to roam, my rose of Jericho. Won't you come back home, my rose of Jericho? I heard Woody Guthrie sing a song for everyone. This land was made for you and me. He sang about a better world that was gonna come, and pastures plenty, always free. A picture from life's other side is all I ever see. Hard travel, how it's gonna be. The gambling man's still rich, and the working folks are poor. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. The do-re-mi don't trickle down like they said it would. Wall Street keeps on getting more and more. With so many little homes for sale in our neighborhood, this train ain't bound for glory anymore. Sing it now. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. We've been sticking to the Union, we've been sticking to our guns. Mister, we've been busted one by one. No bugle call for peace, just another dirty little war. And this train ain't bound for glory anymore. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. I packed my bags to look for work somewhere down the road. Kissed my wife at the railway station door. I heard the blind conductor call, everybody get on board. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. This train ain't bound for glory anymore. And this land was made for you and me. Well, here's a tune now that came to me the summer I turned 38 years old. And I ain't 40 anymore either. And this is called The Middle Years. That's what it sounds like when time's going by. Tick, tock, tick. Seemed like only yesterday I was really on my way. Young and green I used to sway like a willow in the breeze. Now every time I turn around, another sun is going down. Days are falling to the ground like dying autumn leaves. After all these little dreams and fears, we're coming to the middle years. Looking in a rear view mirror, ain't no turning round. And after all the time that's passed, slipping through an hourglass, God, it all goes by so fast, it ain't slowing down. All my clothes don't fit me right, I don't go out late at night. Sometimes I'd rather run than fight or not show up at all. I'd like to set the world on fire, but now I walk a tight rope wire. I'm just another man for hire, waiting on a call. After all these little dreams and fears, we're coming to the middle years. Looking in a rear view mirror, ain't no turning round. And after all the time that's passed, slipping through an hourglass, God, it all goes by so fast, it ain't slowing down. All my hair is turning gray, it's getting thinner every day. I still got something left to say, I just don't say it quite as loud. So hang on, honey, hold on tight, everything is gonna be alright. I'll be back home tomorrow night, just walking on a cloud. After all these little dreams and fears, we're coming to the middle years. Looking in a rear view mirror, ain't no turning round. After all the time that's passed, slipping through an hourglass, God, it all goes by so fast, it ain't slowing down. God, it all goes by so fast, it ain't slowing down. God, it all goes by so fast. I'd love for somebody to weigh in on the hair tonight, because I cut it myself. I've been cutting my own hair for weeks now, and I'm sitting at the top of the frame here because I'm not that happy with it. But I'm glad you're with us. Thank you to John and Rob and Siobhán for being together tonight, and I'm looking forward to hearing Tragedy Ann. I just love their sound from what I've heard so far. And I'm going to continue here with a song that came about one summer afternoon, much like today in Chicago. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. And I was sitting on my porch, and I had this weird idea that I was going to learn a whole bunch of Irving Berlin tunes for the banjo, because I thought no one has ever done that. And I realized since that was probably not a good idea. But I remember I was trying to learn What'll I do when you are far away? Beautiful, beautiful melody wrote for his wife. And then this tune came crashing through the sky. Townes Van Zandt used to call them lightning songs. And I ran in and wrote a line down. Came back out with my banjo, got another line, wrote that down, and I stayed in the kitchen and finished the song. I love the sound of summer rain. I love the sunshine when skies are blue again. How the autumn wind can put a chill into my bones. I hate to see the summer go. We fell in love. It was early spring, you kissed me. My heart began to sing. I picked you a dandelion. You gave me a rose. I hate to see the summer go. Such a bitter change of season. How I hate it, 'cause you're not here. Love comes and goes with no reason, and lets the summer disappear. I still love you, and I can't let go. If I could hold back winter and the cold December snow, you know it might be summer for another month or so. I hate to see the summer go. Such a bitter change of seasons. How I hate it. You're not here. Love comes and goes with no reason, and lets the summer disappear. I still love you, and I can't let go. If I could hold back winter and the cold December snow, you know it might be summer for another month or so. I hate to see the summer go. Here's a tune now from my latest CD. Let Love Go On. You can only get it here. I hope you enjoy it. I saw Jon had it. He's my new best friend. And this was inspired by, I'm sure, Tragedy Ann and Siobhán travel around, and you over the years you kind of get adopted. And I have families all over the country for which I'm grateful. And one of my favorites is right near a little town called Erin, Tennessee, about an hour and a half northwest of Nashville. The folks down there are getting older. We wrote this song late one night in a log cabin somewhere in Tennessee. Wish I could remember. There's nothing like singing with an old friend, a song we've known since way back when. The times and the hard times, my old friend, we've come too far to ever turn back again. Here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to guys like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends. And there's nothing like kicking with an old friend. A good guitar and a tune to make us grin. On the back porch at Granny's, my old friend. How I wish our time together would never end. And here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to guys like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends. Old friends. There's nothing like being with an old friend, just a passing time together now and then. Saying nothing says something to an old friend. It's been so good to be with you again. And here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's to folks like us, old friends. Old friends are the best friends. Old friends. Here's to you and me and what might have been. Here's the songs like ours that never end. Old friends are the best friends. Old friends. Old friends are the best friends. Old friends are the best friends. Song now inspired by my favorite poet, Illinoisan Carl Sandburg, who I've carried with me since high school, and also a fellow that I've more recently come into awareness of, Coleman Barks. And if you've never heard the name Coleman Barks, perhaps you've heard the name Jalaluddin Rumi. Coleman spent about 38 years translating the work of Rumi. And the fun thing about it is you can't tell where Rumi leaves off and where Coleman begins, and each is as lovely as the last. And so this is called Let Love Go On. And right here on your radar, I want to make the statement that I've married three couples to this song. So and they're all still married. So. In every hour of every day, let love go on. Let love go on. Till all of the answers can be made. Let love go on. Let love go on. The love of this hour come pouring down. Let love go on. Let love go on. Clean as a crystal waterfall in the sun. Let love go on. Let love go on. When all of the money and the blood is gone, let love go on. Let love go on. Let the tick of the clock wind itself down. Let love go on. Let love go on. The beat of your heart be all around. Let love go on. Let love go on. With so little time, so much to be done. Let love go on. Let love go on in every hour of every day. Let love go on. 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 Thank you. We might have time for one or two more. And a song now that's written a couple presidents ago. But somehow it still seems to work. It was the last summer I ever played a softball game in my life. The summer I broke a bone in my hand. And this finger in two places. And there I was, all wrapped up, eating Advil, listening to it rain. And the Des Plaines River in Riverside, Illinois, was climbing up the banks. And I thought we were doomed. And when the kid down the street with a folding chair right in front of our house, right looking over the swelling Des Plaines River, he played It's a Hard Rain Gonna Fall, and I thought for sure we're doomed. And at the last minute, the front shifted south. We didn't flood, and to be quite honest, I was disappointed. I was ready. But anyways, the next morning I went walking, and the whole places in town were flooded, and we have this swinging bridge in Riverside, Illinois, and it was gone. And by the time I got home, these verses had pretty much written themselves down. Yeah. The sky's falling down and the creek is coming up that old rickety bridge. Lord, it's running out of luck. Nothing left to do but let the river overflow. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. Sing it out. Yeah, the times are getting harder and the money's getting tight and the cost of living's killing me. Nothing's going right now. The polar cap is melting. The desert's gonna blow. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. When I was a little kid, I did what I was told. Now I go to work each morning in a corporate blindfold. I'm feeling like it's getting late. The gate is gonna close. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. I dug myself a hole. I fell right in. A man comes along, asking me where I've been. He said he never really cared. He just lets the four winds blow. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. I sat down and wrote a letter to the president and I asked him where the hell he thought the Constitution went. He tweeted me this afternoon. He said he didn't know. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. Big into the scab is never gonna make it heal, and every broken bone will teach you how it's really gonna feel. But the sun is gonna rise again, the blizzard's gonna grow. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. Oh, the sky is falling down and the creek is coming up that old rickety bridge. Lord, it's running out of luck. Nothing left to do but let the river overflow. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. It'll be better. It'll be better. It'll be better when it's better, I suppose. That's about all we've got time for, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Mark Dvorak.
I got to listen to John.
Thank you. We don't need an ASL interpreter. We've got you as a sign. And I really love the power of positive thinking. This last couple songs, Let Love Go On. It's quite a benediction, and it's going to be better. We got to believe in that, don't we? So
yes, sir.
Thank you for your music. And once again, I can do the show and tell thing. Let Love Go On is his latest album, and you can find his website there. It says markdvorak.com. And please, if you've enjoyed this set, remember the tip jar at paypal.me/onyourradar2020. And we'd like to have all the artists this evening come away with a little something that shows how much you appreciate it. So once again, Mark Dvorak, thank you so much.
John, thank you for including me, and thank you for bringing us together. It's a pleasure to meet you, even though we're remote, and I look forward to seeing you down the road.
Maybe in Chicago. Okay, so Mark was dealing with an iPad, so that's why his level's a little bit soft. I'm dealing with an iPhone. You know, we're all dealing with whatever works for us. Whatever you are listening or viewing on Facebook Live or the YouTube channel, remember that if you want to tell your friends about this on your radar and they're doing something else this evening, they can catch it on Facebook Live or the YouTube channel, John Platts on Your Radar, later tonight or later this week. And we want to get as many people viewing this stuff and also subscribing as possible, and also, of course, contributing through PayPal. So next up, we want to have a duo from a I'm stumbling into forward look. How do you? What's your thing? Forward thinking
folk.
duo from Guelph, Ontario. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got it. Maybe it was a built-in tongue twister on purpose.
We
Yeah.
See how people have fun with it.
yeah.
Well, I'll let you take it from here. Anyway, this is Liv Cazzola and Braden Phelan. Did I get that right, or is it Phelan?
I go by Phelan, but
Okay.
I mean, so many people have pronounced it in so many different ways. I really don't discriminate.
It sounds like there's some Celtic thing going on there. Am I right?
To my knowledge, it's an Irish background. My background's very mixed, and by no means would I consider myself Irish to the point that Siobhán obviously does. But yeah, there's an Irish background to it.
Yeah. Well, she can take the Irish honors tonight for everybody. But
Yeah.
anyway, no secret that you guys are a married musical couple. I always have to ask, which came first, the music or the romance?
Well, I mean, it was romance through music, but we weren't playing together. We Liv and I met at a gig that we were both playing in separate bands, and then our relationship started, and then Tragedy Ann came out of that. So it was kind of one, then the other again.
A sandwich.
And-
a love sandwich.
Okay. Now, is Guelph where either or both of you are from, or if not, how did you end up there?
Yeah, I'm the original Guelphite, and Braden's the new
Guelphite, is that the word?
Well, that's the official way to say it, but we
Okay.
prefer Guelphs, so
Yeah.
we feel
Okay.
like we're elves.
We're trying to get Guelphs to stick.
Yeah, but I actually just grew up a few doors down from where we live now. My parents are still there at the end of the street, and my mom grew up right next door to that. So my grandparents are also still on this street, and they lived in the two houses that are between where they live now and where we are now. So it's a really special place to be and to come home to between tours. It's been such a blessing to be home for such a consistent time in COVID. I mean, it's a horrible reason, but it's been really good to see my family more, that's for sure.
Well, it sounds as though you've really got roots in the community, even aside from the pandemic. And I think you are involved with very, good deeds. Is that right?
Well, we try.
Yeah.
We try to give back because, oh my gosh, Guelph has given us so much. There's such an amazing, not only folk music community here, but just community in general. There's just so much love and support for as many subsections of that community as possible, and that's still growing too.
Well, and I think that's something that really kind of was impressed upon me when we started touring, just how different communities can be. And there are so many places across Canada and where we've toured that we have a real love for those locations, but there's something about Guelph that is just supportive in a really unique way, and we're so appreciative to be here and lucky to know the folks that we do in our community.
So, of course, I have to ask, how'd the name come about?
So the name actually came from my brother. We sometimes tell an exciting story that is not true, but we trust each on. So the story's kind of boring, in that we were trying to find a name after playing just under my name for a little bit. And we couldn't come up with something because I don't know if you've ever had to name a band before, but everything sounds dumb when you start out.
It's excruciating, right?
Oh, it's the worst.
We literally tried those band name generators a couple times.
Worth a go. Like they're fun.
They were fun.
pastime.
But you were saying band names, not bad name generators, right?
No, band name.
Well,
There should be one of those, I think, too.
Well, and that's what we figured out, is often they're the same thing. But Tragedy Ann came out. It was around the holidays, and we were seeing my brother, and asked, told him we were having trouble finding a name for this project, and he said, "How about Tragedy Ann?" And that was kind of
the
it.
first thing. So we thought, that's pretty cool. I like Raggedy Ann. We have some Raggedy Ann sheets and a doll.
Yeah.
And,
But do you think it fits into your lyrics some way, too?
I mean, In some ways,
Yeah.
we do have a playfulness about some songs. Like the first tune we'll play is definitely more on the playful side, and then we definitely don't shy away from talking about things that touch your heart in a different way, in ways that we can all relate to, but we don't want to talk about all the time.
So what do you mean by forward thinking? How does that fit in?
Well, I think that's trying to address some of the associations that folks can feel when you hear the word folk, because we aren't strictly a folk duo, and I mean, there's been so much conversation in the past decade plus of what folk means, and we don't feel entirely at home as describing ourselves as purely a folk duo, or feel like that we need to specify. So adding forward looking to that descriptor gives a bit of an indication towards both the arrangements that we're using and some of the instrumentation and some of the lyric material as well. In that, folk is a tradition in so many cases, and we acknowledge that tradition while also adding to it.
Well, that kind of wide range always appeals to me, and you can brand yourself however you want.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the music speaks for itself. Matches is the most recent album. Are you going to give us a few songs from that tonight?
I think we are. When we were sitting on the front porch writing our set earlier today, I was kind of saying how, man, I'm just so excited to play all of our new songs. We got to make sure we actually play a song that people have heard before. So
Yeah.
rest assured, we will play at least
At
or
least-
exactly one of the songs from Matches.
Okay, well, here's Tragedy Ann on your radar.
Thanks,
John.
John. All right, I'm going to take these off so I can hear myself nicely. Pass that to you. And we're going to start out with a tune that's inspired by my distaste for alarm clocks. I gave myself a little writing challenge to see if I could write maybe what a perfect song to wake up to in the morning might be. And I don't know if it's that, but it came out to be a nice song, so we're going to sing it for you. The day is breaking, and we are making prairie fields and Canadian shields and sheets we've shared for years. A tangled waking. I turn over, your eyes open, soft and hazy. You pull me lazily into your chest, radiating. Every morning I fall in love again. Every morning I fall in love again. Let's soak it in now, like a dew for flowers slowly blooming. Butterfly kissing as I trace your sides. A tandem rising. Every morning I fall in love again. Every morning I fall in love again.
I wish we had one of those signs that Mark had. That's
yeah, that
so
was genius,
clever.
Mark.
Everyone's learning so much and really upping their live streaming game, and that's a new one. I haven't seen someone with mid song or mid set signs, so we might adapt that with Mark's permission.
Well, it's actually been really nice to be able to play a live stream with other musicians, in part because it made me feel like I was more playing a gig. We did our pre-gig ritual of playing cards together, and that, I feel like that got me in the game a little bit better than just being in my living room and singing some songs into a computer screen. So
Well, and I was just about to make my big comeback in the card game too before we had to stop to play. So that I was on the up, which is good news.
we'll see after the show how that pans out.
So this is the Lonely Song off of Matches. Matches is an LP that we released in 2018, and that's how we got to know Jon at the NERFA conference and whatnot. It looks like this. That's the two of us on it, and you can find it at tragedyandmusic.com. Yeah, we're happy. We mail them all over the world, so we're happy to mail some to the States for those of us south of the border.
Mm-hmm.
This one's called The Last Thing. Smoke left and it's scaring me. It's staring out where my match should be. A match for you, a match for me. We just don't match together anymore, it seems. We blew the fuse, we frayed the seams, dug up the hatchet and buried our dreams. But hope springs eternal and we've found a stream, so we're crossing our fingers while we pack and leave. But it's the last thing I need right now. And I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. Kidding ourselves to buy some time when we both know we're far from alright. We fought so hard to have more fights when my cat killed your canary. Should have seen the sign. I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. And I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now.
We're one starved and I think it sucks, but if it wasn't too much, it was never enough.
It's as crazy with as it is without, so I guess except this is what love's about. And I want it,
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 and I want it, and I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. And I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. And I want it, but it's the last thing I need right now. Last thing I need right now. Last thing I need right now. A match for you, a match for me.
I don't know why I had this urge, but I was tempted to say a mask for you, a mask for me.
Oh,
Ooh.
did not think of that crossover. Goodness, we could have been raking in the big bucks all this time with the COVID related crossover. Goodness.
We did do some COVID covers towards the beginning of the pandemic. If you need a little cynical laugh, it's on Facebook.
It is.
Yeah.
So this is a song. This next one was written right before we knew that the whole world was going to be changing in this kind of way. And it was written about some folks here in Guelph. So for those of us listening who aren't in Guelph, which I imagine will be the majority,
Most people
yeah,
here.
you'll get to learn a little bit about some of the people here in our town.
Okay.
Barbara, what does Barbara do? There we go.
We'll find out.
Barbara paints a picture of the yelling man downtown. Her shaking hand remembers Sam playing with his hat out. Her brush is colored summer when the sidewalk was filled. 2 years into Parkinson's, she can't keep it still. My neighbor grows tomatoes like he has for 60 years. Paradise in his backyard since immigrating here. His doctor told him last spring to cut them from his diet. So Alfredo grows tomatoes, the fruit die on the vine. Are we weighed by what we love? What are we worth when it's gone before us? Ben plays hockey organ for the local junior race. He's never had an audience that wasn't wearing skates. The league sent him a letter. Times are changing fast. The radio is cheaper. This season is his last. Are we weighed by what we love? What are we worth when it's gone before us? Are we weighed by what we love? What are we worth when it's gone before us? Barbara's bought a camera and she never puts it down. Alfredo plants a seed and smiles. It's the gardening that counts. Ben plays at church on Sundays, even after the ice melts. To my knowledge, they've never met. They know each other well. That's what Barbara does. All right.
It was really, really special to hear Siobhán and Mark's music. I'd never heard you two before, and it was a real treat. Haven't had a chance to listen to enough live streams, and meant a lot to share this time with you. I hope everyone listening got to catch their sets, and if you didn't, it's a video so you can look back after.
Well, and Liv, I think you touched on something when you mentioned that you haven't tuned into enough live streams. Just in that there are, so many musicians who have adapted in really creative ways to adopt this medium. And the fact that you folks are tuning in to this particular stream in this particular moment is really much appreciated by us. And it means a lot that we were invited by Jon to be up here or on this. It's, we were excited to be playing the On Your Radar series. Could not have ever imagined it would be like this. But we would love to meet some of you folks down in New York whenever it is safe to do so. Yeah.
If you're from a place that's not New York, but you think that we should go to, say so in the comments, and we'll start putting together our post-COVID tour list.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know if you folks in the States have the Velveteen Rabbit. I don't know if that was as popular down there for kids growing up as it has been for myself and other Canadians. I know for a fact that it wasn't so big in continental Europe, which was very hard to explain then in French or German when we were touring there. So if you have not had the pleasure of reading that book, I would highly recommend getting it from your local library, because it's a treat and helped inspire part of this song.
Yeah, the other half of the song was inspired by a book that I think most people won't have access to. It was a book given to us, written by the author in London, Ontario, and an autobiographical story about his life. And we both read it, and it meant so much to us that we pulled together some meaning from both of those tunes to make. Both of those books to make one tune.
There we go.
There we go.
This one's called Velveteen. There's a tree not too far from home, waving leaves like it knows me. There's a voice I hear when I'm alone, whispers to the seasons. There was touch knots along your spine, packing bags at your bedside. Still worthy when my thread is torn. Will you still love me? Now there's a hole we cannot mend. Until then, until then, there was hope, treatment, traded time, folded hands defiant. There's a phrase I wish could say, I wish that you could stay alive in every way. Please, I wish that you could stay. I wish that you could stay. I wish that you could stay. Will you still love me when our velvet's gone? Am I still worthy when my thread is torn? Will you still love me? Now there's a hole we cannot mend. Until then, until then, until then, until then. There's a tree not too far from home, waving leaves like it knows me.
Okay.
I don't know if you folks can hear it through there, but my computer, my laptop is just screaming right now. It's very unhappy with all the things that are being processed through it. But I'm
Yeah.
glad that they are.
We have a 12-minute mark, by the way.
12-minute mark.
So we can do 2 or 3. Probably 2. I would say.
I would say, yeah.
Just to be safe. Do you want to do these 2 or these 2?
I would do these 2. Okay.
The troubles of
Okay.
being in a band with
Let's-
2 people.
Let's do these 2 then.
Okay, let's do those 2.
This is yeah, music by committee. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Siobhán mentioned this tune when she was in the interview with Jon, and that made me more excited to play this
Yeah,
song
Totally.
than we would have otherwise. Not that we don't like playing it.
This I'm super curious to hear Siobhán's version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
trade.
yeah,
versions.
that would be super fun. But I'm also there's just a glimmer of hope, of optimism on my end that she might have also put her version into 3/4, because I think this is the only, to my knowledge, we play the only version of this song that's in 3/4 time. But I would love to be proven wrong, especially if it's by the likes of Siobhán O'Brien.
Okay.
Everyone can consider themselves lucky that Liv is the one looking at the comments and not I, because I'm short-sighted. So I would be, right up in the camera trying to read what the heck's going on there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I should get my eyes checked after this. I'm like squinting. Oh.
Well, I think that's
Thanks
actually...
everybody for your comments.
Yeah, that's our engineer, Rob. I think he's made the font smaller just to mess with us.
Maybe.
Thank you, Rob, for making this look and sound
Yes,
awesome.
thank you. I think that needs to be said. How invaluable it is to have sound engineers and lighting engineers be a part of this kind of online experience when otherwise we'd feel pretty alone. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you a metric ton, Rob.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everyone okay?
Yes. There's secret comments. I feel like we should share them with people. Siobhán says,
That's
"Oh,
why they're
guys, that's
secret."
so cute, but I don't even know what song you're going on about."
We're leaving it a surprise, Siobhán.
There we go. Here we go. We're gonna just play it.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed 'neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed the man who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, "Son, what's your alibi? If you were somewhere else, you won't have to die." I spoke not a word, though it meant my life. I was in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The scaffold was high, an eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But late at night, when the north wind blows in a long black veil, she weeps o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me.
Okay, thanks so much for spending time with us this evening. Thanks for the claps.
Yeah. Virtual as they may
Virtual
be.
claps. I can imagine them. anyway, we hope that we can come to you in the flesh sometime soon.
I mean, or you can come to us. You're welcome. As soon as the border opens, come visit us in Guelph. It's a lovely spot.
But in the meantime, there's a handy little strip across the bottom of your screen that says tragedyandmusic.com. So if you go there, you can hear some of our recorded tunes, and you can sign up for our mailing list. We'll let you know when things are coming up. There's also that PayPal for On Your Radar 2020. And we're going to leave you with a message, a wish, a prayer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
For this time and for all times.
I hope this finds you well on the day you hear the call-in, and that your heart rings like a wedding bell. I hope this finds you well, and gently may you go when the trees and the leaves are falling. May you find your peace in a campfire glow. Gently may you go. My friend, your show goes on. They'll forever be applauding. If your song is shared, then you're never gone. My friend, your show goes on. And may your skies be blue. Wherever wings may take you, at dawn you'll see every point of view. And may your skies be blue. I hope this finds you well on the day you hear the calling, and that your heart rings like a wedding bell. I hope this finds you well. I hope this finds you well.
Thanks for tuning in,
Thank you for
everybody.
listening,
We're
folks.
Tragedy Ann.
Yeah, I think John. Yeah, there's John.
Ah, perfect.
Well, what a gentle way to end this evening
Thank you.
with that kind of a benediction, as well as the perhaps most mournful version of Long Black Veil that any of us had ever heard,
Well,
complete with saw. That Yeah.
I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
No, well, I think everybody who's in the backstage is now thinking about adding a saw to their repertoire as well. So
Well, and that actually adds to the, you were asking, about forward-looking folk, and it's partially because we're on the cutting edge of folk music with the saw and everything.
oh, yeah, a little but anyway, well, you cut like a saw. So much thanks to Tragedy Ann, Liv, and Braden, to Siobhán O'Brien, and also, of course, to Mark Dvorak for their performances on your radar. And well, let's all give ourselves a hand. And we know out there's a virtual applause going on right now. Thanks to Rob Hinkle, who's the producer in
Excellent. Thank you,
StreamYard.
Rob.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
Pulls this all together. Us technological idiots couldn't do it without him. Thanks, thanks also to Gordon Nash, the social media maven, and Richard Coccaro of Acoustic Live NYC. And thanks to Laura Mogul of the Landmark on Main Street, which is a media sponsor for On Your Radar, and we appreciate their support as well. Of course, thanks to everyone who was viewed on Facebook Live or YouTube this evening. Remember, it will be archived shortly, and you can watch it again. And pass the word out to your friends that if they missed it tonight, they should see it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And most importantly, go to that website, paypal.me/onyourradar2020. Those of you who would be at Rockwood Music Hall right now, you would have been putting a little something in to do On Your Radar. So if you haven't done it yet, do that. And if you're in the rest of the world and you wouldn't be able to afford to go to On Your Radar, this would be a good time to chip in something. We'd like to have everybody feel that what they've done is tangibly welcome. So I guess that's the best thing to say, other than thanks once again, and join us next month for another On Your Radar.
Thank you,
I know I'll
John.
be tuning in.
Thank you, John.
Great to hear you guys.
Yeah,
Great to
likewise.
hear
You sound great,
Siobhán.
everyone. Loved
Yeah,
it.
amazing.
Loved every minute.
Lovely, beautiful. Thank you,
We'll
John.
have to do this in person sometime.
Yes,
You bet.
great.
It's a date.
Yeah.
And Siobhán, you can invite your friend Bob.
If he's my friend, anyway.
Good night.
Good
Good
luck.
night.
Good night.
I think they'll come on.